Okay, why your Facebook campaign strategy works better in two parts. That's what I'm going to cover in today's video. If you're struggling with the Facebook campaign that you're trying to run, outside of remarketing, trying to get new people who never heard of you before to click on your Facebook ad and buy from you, or generate a lead to then eventually buy from you, this video should be able to help you out, considering this is the strategy that I'm going to give you on this particular video that's not really used by too many people. I have all kinds of people that come to me looking for ways to get their Facebook campaigns to work at our firm, and this is the kind of the first thing that I can go to basically find a way to break out of the mold. There's a lot of times where you have a Facebook campaign, you're getting a little bit of results but not nearly enough. That's fine. You just have to look at what else you can try, layer on a few different things potentially, and it'll work. So never give up too early. There's plenty of things you can try. I have plenty of things on this channel. I've laid out things that are bolt-on strategies onto stuff that sort of works, that can get a Facebook campaign working better. But on this video, I'm talking about taking that Facebook ad and make sure that you're not trying to sell to the person too quickly, too strongly. You're going at them too quick, and frankly, when they don't trust you yet. So breaking that into several parts, having an ad show up before another ad, which shows up before another ad, and so forth, which is what I'm going to cover specifically on this video. But with all that said, I will go through what I mean as far as that strategy, how I use it, what kind of results you can kind of expect from it. And with that, something you can go ahead and apply to your campaigns after you're done watching this video. So first of all, most people think to make a Facebook campaign work, again, we're not talking about remarketing here, excluding like regular remarketing campaigns, which I use basically any Google campaign I have going, I'll have Facebook remarketing. Facebook is harder to get to work than Google, so I usually use Google first. You need to though have, if you're going to do Facebook campaigns, you need to have a really good ad, or people think you need to have a really good ad, I should say, and with that, everything will just work. Or another way to put it is to say, oh boy, if I just had this, the right ad, my campaign would work. Why isn't it working? I just need the right ad. That could be right in some instances. I don't want to say you're wrong with that particular ideology, but a lot of times it's just when the thing is, when nobody knows who you are, it's very hard in just like 2 seconds to get somebody's trust enough to be willing to buy your product, as you can imagine. So think about this when you try to have this right ad that's supposed to sell, especially a new concept that they never even heard of, or even if it's an existing concept, but there's already proven vendors out there that sell branded solutions that sell. How are you going to convey that you should be trusted in a short period of time with just an ad? It's tough. So in order to break out of that mold, what you do is you set up a sales funnel, and you have multiple ads that work as a part of a system in order to get what you want done at the end of the day, which is to get the user's trust, and then willing and open and willing to consider buying your product or service, or talking to you about buying your product or service. On a good majority of occasions, we're talking about 2 or even 3 or even 4 steps that I'm going to have in a Facebook campaign in order to get that campaign to work, to set up a sale. Even if it's just you're generating leads, having 3 to 4 different steps in your Facebook campaign process to get your prospect in position to be willing to talk to you about buying from your company. So whereas 90% of people think when they step into this that they just have the right ad, they can get things to work, a lot of the pros that are experienced know it's like, what series of ads do I need to have set up to take the user from nowhere, not interested, to slightly more interested, and then willing to buy. So with all that said, moving forward here, if you can't get a Facebook campaign to work, consider breaking your sales process down into multiple parts. Okay? like I said, if you're getting a little bit of sales off of one ad, that's great, because chances are if you just add multiple steps to your process, you'll get enough of a jump on your results that it will be at a break-even point, and you can, use that as a tool to generate sales long term. My favorite multi-step process that I go to, I'll give you my two kind of go-tos, which you can use on your campaigns here. But the first one would be a video. So you make a video that kind of shows the highlights of what's great about your product or service, okay? A lot of times that'll be just showing the results. Here's the results you get using this product. Here's the results you get using this service. And with that, it could be you demonstrating the results, or it could be your customers using the product or service and you documenting how they're using it, which is a bit more powerful. So if you can get that kind of content, you do it. But basically, you set up a video, and all you're going to try to do in the first step is just gain a little bit of awareness and trust from your prospect. You're not trying to sell anything to them outright, even though some of the most interested people, when they see a video ad like that, they will be willing to buy. But you're not expecting anybody to buy. All you're doing is you're setting up and priming an audience. You're collecting an audience. You can set up on Facebook that if somebody watches a video for a certain period of time, they can be on a separate audience, which you can then target that audience of people later on with another ad. And that's just what you're going to do with this one. Okay? So with that, I'll generally have that kind of video, and then I'll have it, if they watch 10 seconds of that video, indicating to me that they're basically interested to some level about what's being shown. Because if you didn't watch it 10 seconds, you weren't interested enough that they probably aren't open to us possibly being a part of wanting that solution as well. So it's like a filter, if you will. It filters out people who you don't want to invest big money into keep marketing to. That's the first thing. The second thing is people don't have their guard up when you just show them a basic content video. If you think about it on Facebook, what are you there to do? You're there to see funny and interesting content. You're not there to buy crap. So you got to keep that in mind. Why won't they buy my stuff? Well, they're not there to buy anything. But if you could use the platform for what it is, which is people being willing to watch content, and then package up a piece of content that they don't know is a sales pitch or a veiled sales pitch, you'll get their attention enough to see what your product or service can do in that piece of content. And then you can just grade, okay, these people like the content, these people don't. Okay, great. These people who like the content, I can invest more into them. And that's what you're going to do with this particular setup. The people that have watched at least 10 seconds of the video, now those people, which will be about 10%, if you will, or so, of the people who were shown the initial video, those people are worth spending more money on, or considerable more money on marketing to. So with that, I will have a sales ad after that. So they got to see on the video, and the video will usually be like a minute, 2-minute video, maybe 3 minutes video. This is a general length of time we'll have for a video, where it's not too long, not too short, not too long in that they'll never get to the end. Therefore, they won't get to the call to action to go to your site, because the people that do get to the end of the video, you could get them to go to your site and potentially register or whatever you want them to do in actuality. But with that, they're interested enough, and they're aware now of what you have works and it's a possible solution, and that it works for other people. If you've shown what your other customers are doing, they're open to the idea now of buying something like you have, because there is now a known and effective appeal to what you have. You've demonstrated that. This video also sets you up because now they're aware of your company. So there's a thing, when you're trying to sell something to somebody online or in general in life, they have to be able to trust you. Or the person that's selling to them, if you will. They got to be able to trust the company, and they got to be able to trust the product. And when you try to pitch something to them, they don't trust the company. But if they saw a video that they got a lot of value from, so in that video, you're just really focusing on delivering value. What would the customer like to see? Let's do that. They see value. Then later on, when you have a sales ad later on that comes up after that, they trust your brand. Okay? They trust your brand. If the sales ad has language that's similar to what was on the video, they trust the person that's, pitching them, if you will. And they also are aware of the solution. They trust the solution. So that's the time, because you're now got all of those three major components out of the way. Now you actually have a chance to sell something to somebody. And you're going to have a sales pitch set up. Here, buy my product or service. That's basically it. Could be just a regular image ad there is what it would normally go with. But that's the basic thing. You're going to have to pay money to develop that audience, which if they just saw the sales ad by themselves, it wouldn't work. But by priming your audience with the video, finding the 1 out of 10 people who, watched the video basically all the way through and liked it, and then pitching to them, your conversion rate on your ad now will be astronomically higher. Like 10 times plus higher than it would be standing on its own. Okay? So whatever you pay to have the video show up before the sales ad, you'll make up for it and more. That's the whole point of all this. And this is where people get stuck. They think, I don't want to have to do all this. I want to just pay one time for them to see the product. And if they don't like it, well, I'm not going to pay again. And that's the thinking that's going to keep you stuck if you stay with that thinking a lot of the time. So, but that usually isn't all. Once they see your sales ad, a lot of times that's still not enough to get them to buy, which is where remarketing comes in. And so with the remarketing, now you're going to bridge the rest of the gap on, because some people are going to trust you more easily than others. And so you got to come back with, testimonials, reviews, so on and so forth, which I'll get into in a minute. But you will have a bunch of other ads that go behind that ad for the people who didn't buy from your sales ad right away. But with that, all those other remarketing ads only show up for the person that you've already, since you did the video in the beginning, you've pre-vetted as a good investment into to try to get the buy. You see my point? So with all these other, you're going to spend a decent amount of money marketing to somebody, not just once, but a bunch of times through a bunch of different ads. You won't do that unless they actually show them on the initial video that you showed them that they should be interested in it because it's a sick piece of content. You're not going to invest into them unless they raise their hand and say, yes, I like this video. So that's the basic, two-step process, which if you count the remarketing, it's more like 6-7 steps. To be able to get a Facebook campaign to work, whereas a standalone ad, when you are an unknown brand, an unknown company, maybe a known solution, but an unknown vendor in that space, how you build up the trust and credibility of your company to be able to have an ad work, whereas for another branded solution, it would work as is with no funnel, because they already know who that company is, they already know who that product is, or if it's a new product, they at least know the company, they can trust it right away. Okay, that's a big hurdle you have to get over in order to get things to work. Beyond that, here's a second type of funnel that you can go through with. If the video doesn't work, or you're not into videos or whatever, you can have an article review of basically your product or service as well. What I mean by article review is like you'd have a blog post on your site, assuming you have a blog on your site. On that blog post, you'll review your product or service in terms of like a case study of what it can do. Again, it's just the same thing as the video, but in print form. You review what the result, you show in writing basically and through images what results your product or service can get in a typical scenario. Or you interview and do a case study of a customer, and you take that interview and you put that into a blog post showing what kind of results they got. And you package up with the video. I'll usually just do one video, but with an article like that, I'll do a series of 3 different articles. And respectively, the 3 will show if they actually click on any one of my 3 articles. That's when my sales ad and remarketing sequence can show up for them after that. Okay? Another way to do it, and here's a kind of a really outside the box kind of thinking that you can do as far as making Facebook ads work. Some people that I deal with will, go the extra long route instead of just, being short-sighted and trying to sell to somebody with one ad, like I was talking about, most people do. Try to set up a Facebook group, first. Build that up to some minimal degree. And that could be anything to do with like business strategy. Get people talking in that group. Help people in that group on Facebook, the Facebook group there. And with that, once people start sharing their own stuff in the Facebook group, you could take what they share in the Facebook group and you could put that in an ad indicating that this group has some cool stuff going on it that you might want to see. Okay? And then, sending people to, whereas before on the article ad, you're promoting the article, you're sending them to the article. For the group, you're promoting what's in the group and you're sending them to the group. And you are the one who owns the group. Your group has your branding on the group. So they are going to be, if they get to your group, they're going to be aware of your company at that point. But you're promoting your group, you have take one thing, one person shared, put that into an ad, frame whatever they said into an ad, point them back to that share on the Facebook group. Once they go to the Facebook group and see what they shared themselves, so they could comment, they could see what's else in the group and potentially join. You do that 2 more times with 2 other things that people have shared. And they rotate out. And anybody who's clicked to go to the group, they go into an audience. So anybody who's clicked on an ad can go into an audience, just like somebody who's watched 10 seconds of a video can go into an audience by itself. If you do the articles, if they click to go to even one article, they go into an audience that you're going to hit with a sales pitch later on. With the group ads, promoting your group, what's been shared in your groups, if they click on any one of the 3 group ads, and why you do 3 is because maybe one just didn't quite click with the person, but the other 2 might. If they click on any one of the 3, they're in an audience. Now they're interested enough, and more so, they're aware of who you are, so they're open to, they trust what you're saying. You can go in with a sales pitch at that point, and that sales pitch will be wildly more impactful on who you're marketing to, instead of just somebody who has a general interest that never heard of you before. And so you could go with your sales pitch if they clicked on any one of your group posts that you picked out from your group and packaged up in an ad, framed in an ad, or your ads that promote basically the case studies or reviews of what your product or service does. It goes into an audience, then a sales pitch goes on after that. So that's a secondary way you can go about doing this without using a video. Really, it varies by company which one of these is actually going to work better. Is the video working better? Is the article going to work better? The group works generally better than the article, but a lot of you guys can't get a group going. In a lot of niches that just won't work. You go with the article approach. But try, if you can get Facebook to work, consider one of these 2, the articles/group or the video, to prime your audience first and then go after them with the sales pitch. That said, you still have remarketing to do after they've seen the sales pitch. A lot of people will see your sales pitch, they'll be open to it now, but they're not quite ready to buy yet. So once they see your sales ad, right after that, they're also going to see all your remarketing ads, okay? And through the remarketing ads, it's going to build up more and more urgency and demand for your product or service to kind of complete the loop that you need to complete with the user to get them all the way, or all the rest of the way to making willing to make a purchase at that point. So, respectively, you'll have a bunch of different ads that do different things to kind of fill that space or fill that gap. What I'm going to do as standard is I'm going to have, for instance, as a part of my sequence that shows up for the person after the sales ad, is a testimonial, a customer testimonial. Ideally, a testimonial showing the customer's face, what they said, and what the results were visually, if you can get it. That's going to be the most impactful. Because it's just like before. I mean, when people like to see the end result of what your product or service does more than anything else. That's why you want to pitch that in the video or the article that you wrote itself, or what's being shared in the group. Because what's shared in the group generally, and what you are going to package up in the group style ad, is what people are sharing about what results they got, respectively. And to go one step further, what results for the group style ads? It's results they got doing something that your company advocated for them to do, just to clarify, if you were wondering. With the testimonial ad, them seeing another person, what results they got, who's a bona fide customer of yours, once they see that ad, it not only will it be interesting content for them, so they'll pay attention to it, but it'll raise the trust and respect of your company and your solution just a little bit more. And you could think of, like, if your customer's here when you get started, and you got to bring them to here in terms of making a sale with them. Each time you show them another piece of content, they get a little bit further. You show them one testimonial, they're here. Show them another testimonial, they're right here. Show them another, they're here. And once you get far enough up the chain, they will actually consider fully then being or willing to buy from you. So you got to put the work in and have more ads show up for the person. One ad's not going to do it. So I'll do a testimonial or 2 or 3. I'll do a video that shows the features of the product or service. So instead of talking about just the results here, what are the cool, unique features of this product or service that gets the results for the user? Would be one individual remarketing component I would add to the sequence I have for the remarketing that follows up after people have made my audience. Okay, I will do a video testimonial, because video testimonials, it's just another way to do a testimonial, so it's not all the same and people don't get ad fatigue looking at too many testimonials. Video testimonials are more believable. I'll do 1, 2, 3 video testimonials, and respectively, the video testimonial is just you interviewing the customer. Why'd you like the product? What kind of results did you get? That kind of thing. Just can be a cheap headshot type video, or showing a few shots of visually what the results were. That kind of thing. You have an ad that shows your Google /Yelp /HomeAdvisor /Avo any of your industry review sites that you have, indicating that not just these hand-picked people that you've had as testimonials and that you've shown like your product or service, but hundreds of potentially other people have reviewed you well. So, the rest of, they're, in terms of a trust, they're at a 7. Now they're at a 10 because you showed them, you have hundreds of great reviews on Google already. And that would be packaged up into one ad as a part of a whole sequence that's going to get the user to wanting to do business with you. Willing to like you, trust you, and now willing to do business with you. And then the last ad I'll usually have as a part of the sequence, and this isn't always completely exactly like this for what I'm doing for remarketing, but this is a general idea of what I'm using. I'll have a sale ad as well. So there's a thing in sales where good salespeople will tell you, and Cialdini's, there's a book on Cialdini, 7 Principles of, I can't remember the title, likability. Essentially, if somebody's going to be able to buy from you, there's 7 things that you raise your chances that will get somebody to be more willing to buy from you if you perform them. They have to like you, trust you. I went through some of these, but part of the things that you can do to get somebody to buy from you more frequently is you build urgency and potential scarcity with your offer. So if you come in with an ad also as a part of your remarketing sequence, and you say, for this month only, we're going to give you 20% off, or for this week only, we're going to give you 20% off. Most people, as they're seeing your marketing ads, they're thinking, yeah, this actually seems like a pretty good idea, but they don't want to buy now because it takes effort to go out and put your credit card through, or, they may there's a million reasons why they'll procrastinate with good intentions to buy, but the people that procrastinate, a lot of times they just never buy because they get distracted, they spend their money on something else, something happens. You want to get the money today. The quicker you get it, that you can do it elegantly to get it not seem like you're pushy, because you'll push them away. But the quicker you get it, the sooner you get it, the more likely you will get it as a whole at all. So you offer some sort of incentive. We'll throw in this extra thing if you do it this week only. But this week only, and they're thinking, well, I was going to buy it. If I'm going to buy and I can't get this extra free thing this week, I better just buy it now. So that builds a sense of urgency to buy it now, and is therefore going to get you a higher purchase rate from the person who made your audience list that you're marketing to. And it also builds in you could say a little bit of scarcity. You're creating something that doesn't seem infinite anymore. So therefore, what you're offering doesn't seem infinite anymore. It also builds even more demand for your product. As far as scarcity, some people, what real scarcity is when you say there's only 7 left, or we're only taking so many more people. You can do that. I don't really believe in doing that too often myself, but that would be another way. But anyway, that's another thing that I'll add to my remarketing sequence to make the whole package of things work. And so with that, the general summary of all this is everything I mentioned works together as a piece. Everybody thinks that remarketing, they'll run a remarketing ad, and the remarketing ad won't generate enough ROI through the tracking. And that's a really stupid way to think about it, because the remarketing doesn't sell the person in one ad. The remarketing sells as a part of all the other ads. You got to think about, again, your customer. There's a range where they have to go through to get from don't know you to trust you and willing to buy. And each ad gets them a little bit closer. So just because one ad in that sequence doesn't get them to buy, but it got it from here to here, that's all it was supposed to do. That's all it has to do to have an ROI for you. And you therefore should be looking at the ROI of the overall package of ads. Okay? See how much you have to spend between the initial video, their initial ad to get them on your audience list, and all the other ads to get a sale. And obviously that's easy to do. You can simply have a separate landing page that you're sending people to actually buy from Facebook or whatever, and then what's the amount of money you're spending on Facebook between all of these campaigns to get so many sales. And don't look at any one ad, because that's what newbies are doing. And newbies will say, oh, these 6 ads don't get the sales, but the last one in the sequence did. I'm just going to run that. No, that last ad would have never worked without the other 6. So, but that's in general what basic formula I am going to use on Facebook when an ad by itself won't work. If what I have is a really hot selling product or service, one ad will work. But if you're like, the rest of us, or most of everything else, one ad by itself won't work. You have to do all the rest. Sometimes I'll just have to do a lot of remarketing. And other times I'll also have to add multiple steps before the remarketing just to warm up the audience, okay? So, and if you're looking to sell a product, you may have to do a couple steps just to get the lead, to get their email address, and then have an actual salesperson sell them on the back end. They're not going to go ahead and just buy on their own. And that would be another way to add another step. So in other words, the lesson here is, if you can't get your campaigns to work, consider adding more steps so that each step doesn't take as much to get to the next step, and that, if they have to just buy or not, it's easy for a person just to say, well, I'm not ready to buy, and then forget everything about what you said. Versus, I'm willing to see what your content here. I'm willing to see another piece of content. I'm willing to see another piece of content. Each individual ask is so much smaller that your compliance rate is so much higher on each one, in that even though you have to market to the person more than once, the overall effect is your compliance rate on each individual thing you're asking the user for is so high that the overall amount of people you get to say yes to the whole thing is astronomically higher than if you would have just asked one time. So it's no different than if you were a car salesman on a car lot and you said, you should buy this car right here. It's perfect for you. No, I don't want to buy it. Come on, buy this one. Versus, go through this long ordeal that takes hours to get them to buy what, you know, because you're building up rapport during that whole time. Because offline salespeople know rapport is everything in terms of being a good salesperson, getting a lot of sales commissions. You're building rapport with your multi-tiered ad strategy through giving them. Rapport is about giving them your time, your effort, your knowledge, asking them questions, what they need and what they want, what they're looking for, and advising them, yeah, we have this, if you're looking for this, this is the type of thing that does good, that kind of whole thing. And with the PPC campaign on Facebook or anywhere else, you do this by giving content that the user for sure wants to see. Not you want them to see, but what do they want to see? And offering that to them first, building that rapport with the user, then asking them for a sale. And after you ask them for the sale, the people that, other than the small portion that would be willing to buy right away, you keep remarketing to them for 30, 60, 90, 180 days after that to finish filling the gap of the necessary rest of the trust and the credibility and the rapport you have to continue to build to get the person the rest of the way to the sale. So anyway, consider that when you're doing your Facebook campaigns. If you like this video, I have a lot of other videos on this channel about other PPC money making strategies. If you like this video and you want to make more money with Facebook PPC, Google Ads, whatever, you should definitely check them out. I have a blog at guaranteeppc.com/blog with step-by-step instructions on how to build PPC campaigns the way that I use for our clients to guarantee their results. If you want to see what kind of stuff that I'm doing for our clients to do, guarantee the results, you can find it there. Maybe it will be of help to you as well. So I do have another video coming out in another couple days. I hope to see you there. I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel so you can be first to be notified when that video comes out, as well as my other videos. If you like this video, also appreciate it if you'd like it. With that all said, I'll talk to you guys later. See you on the next one.